Storytime disappeared. If you're ever going away, and you plan on renting a house from one of those sites, please be careful. Last summer my family went on a trip to Mexico. We would usually just stay in a hotel, but my sister said she found an entire house for rent and it was so cheap my parents agreed. From the beginning, I felt like it was too good to be true, and I just got a really bad feeling about all of it. The people who owned the house asked a bunch of questions like who would be in the house and our ages. I get that they want to know who's gonna be staying in their house, but the weird thing is they messaged my mom back and asked her to confirm that there would only be one man staying in the house. For me, red flags and sirens were going off in my head, but everyone just kept acting like I was being paranoid. I didn't want to go on the trip, but at the same time I didn't want to just let my family go alone. So at the last minute, I decided to invite my boyfriend, and we never told the people we were renting the house from that he was coming. To this day I'm still convinced that my boyfriend being there saved all of our lives. We get to the house and everyone else was super excited, but I just felt sick to my stomach. The more I walked around, the more I realized it was a trap. All of the doors were those barn doors that slide on a track. It seemed like a cool design feature, but it also meant not a single one of the doors could be locked. That made me curious about the windows, so I checked, and it was the same thing. None of the windows had locks on them. I thought about mentioning it to my family, but everyone already thought I was being crazy, so I didn't bring it up. A little while later there was a knock at the door. It was two men saying they were the house managers and asking if we needed anything. My dad invited them in, and that's when I noticed it. Both men were wearing rubber gloves and had plastic covering their shoes. I got this deep sinking feeling as one of them reached into his pocket. Literally, at that same moment my boyfriend walked into the living room, and both of the guys looked at each other with this weird expression. Then the yelling started. They were really angry about the fact that my boyfriend was in the house, and they kept saying he had to leave. Then it somehow turned into my dad and my boyfriend both had to leave. My mom went to pull up the reservation to show them my dad was supposed to be there, but just looking at her, I could tell something was really wrong. All the color had drained from her face, and she looked right at my dad and said, "We need to leave right now." We got lucky and found two available rooms at a nearby hotel. When we finally sat down to talk about it, my mom told us everything. First she went to the website, but she couldn't find that the house had ever even been listed to rent. Then she tried checking for the messages she sent to the host, but there was nothing. Her last resort was to check her email for the confirmation, but that was gone too. Somehow, any and all proof that we had ever even decided to stay at that house had just disappeared.